Welcome back to the Date Master. It is the Date Master himself. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Shout out to the engagement. It's hump day. We're going to get this morning started right. We're going to get into some controversial fabric this morning. Do you feel you should remain loyal to your race of women, whether you're black, white, or other, even if it's not working out? I see this topic I've seen this topic in the past years to where there is this stigma that in this particular case, black men, once they get to a certain level financially, academically, whatever the case may be, they tend to marry or date outside of their race. Now, two things can be true at the same time, but I believe black men are 3 times more likely to marry or date outside of his race because he is one of the, I would say, not one, the most desired man on the planet besides the white male. Again, that's just from an economic standpoint, but I would say, excuse me, from a physical aesthetic, from the charisma, all of the intangibles, the black male is the most desired when you just look at the porn industry, who's having all of these different variety of women who gets, you know, who's fetishized, who's the fetish in a lot of cases from the female standpoint. It's black men. But exploring other options is something that I see a lot of men are looking into doing. You have the divestment community from the female perspective and from the female end. But again, I think that is a delusional out that they want to have because they've seen black men benefiting from it. They think they're going to benefit in the same way, and that is not the case because we don't hold the same position in the interracial relationship. When a white man marries a black woman, she's going to get on his time. She's going to submit to him. No matter what she says, she's independent. See, people play these games in certain spaces. No different than a person asking you your profession. They ask you, what do you do? Because they want to gauge what level of respect you deserve. You notice that? They want to ask you, what do you do? How much money do you make? Because in their mind, that tells them how much respect sugar to put in the Kool-Aid. And so, okay, we'll give him this much respect. Okay, he works for the city. He's a mechanic. He's a plumber. Okay, I'm gonna give him this type of respect. Oh, he's a doctor. He's a attorney. I'm gonna give him this type of respect. Same difference when they go into the relationships with white men. And if black men were to marry a woman of a different race, she would have to come into his culture and come under his leadership. But a lot of men, black men in particular, we want to settle down and procreate with the black woman, but there are a lot of issues at hand on both sides. I like to keep it balanced, but I do like to hold women accountable the same way women hold men accountable. And I hold men more accountable than I do women because it starts and ends with the man. So you see the pushback, you seeing the blatant disrespect. This is because the black male image has been tarnished. So we get talked down upon when we do speak our preferences of different type of women. You see it again with Fresh and Fit when they said they don't date black women in a lot of cases. Well, black women are not their top preference. They got a lot of backlash because black men are looked as second class men. They're not able to have standards. We're not able to have standards and preferences because we're the bottom of the barrel in their eyes, or we're the second class man in their eyes. When you're a man of a certain cloth, in a sense, let's say you have morals, you walk a certain way, you're into certain things that surround the community, and things like that. Men typically want a woman that's going to be a great representation of him in his absence and in his presence when he's going to certain arenas, when he's going to certain meetings, certain galas, venues, etc. He wants his woman to compliment him. And now that the issues that you're seeing are pretty much on the glass, black men are second guessing settling down with black women, especially now. Black women have taken to social media to pretty much show their true colors in the event of a man passing, not just Kevin Samuels, but also with David Carroll. You see this. So if you feel that you should be loyal to your own race and you still should procreate and overlook all of the toxicity, the destructive behavior, you have to ask yourself, what do you get in return for your loyalty? See, this loyalty, and it goes both. Let's look at it from a man's perspective. A lot of men think black women should just be loyal and do all of this to them or for them. That's not how the world works. We are trying to convince our own women that we should be the ones that they respect, adore, submit to, etc. You cannot convince a woman, I would say anyone, of anything with your words. You do not argue with your words. You do not make points with your words. You make points with action, accomplishments, and boundaries. Because if you, let's say you're in business and you have products and you sell the products too cheap, no one will see value in it. If you have a service and you offer the service for too cheap of a price, it will not have any type of value attached to it, because why are you giving me this for so cheap? Now, there's a difference between getting a deal in value and then it being cheap. You see and this is in my experience, I've seen a lot of black men who did go with a white woman or a different race of woman. I've always see them in good spirits. I see them happy. I see them flourishing. And when men speak to the point that other races of women are easier to deal with than black women, you get the pushback, because to a black woman, you have to be able to handle her. I know I got an attitude. I know I got mouth. I know I talk. No, but they think we are supposed to just accept that. That's never going to be the case, especially when a man is sacrificed, has slept on the floor. You know, that's my key phrase for those who are trying to get it out the mud and those who are getting it out the mud. You just don't start off from the top. So for a man who's made certain sacrifices for a certain lifestyle to get to a certain level, there are big risks that were taken to get to that point. So that is going to involve that much more protection and that much more what's the word I would like to say, provision over it. We're not just going to let you come in and do what you want, say what you want, treat me how you want, and think we're just supposed to take it. But the elephant in the room is that we know that other races of women are easier to deal with, because you just look at the visible reality. You can see the young Jeezys, the men taking pride. Well, some people say, or the women would say, well, he just hates himself. He has self-hatred, so he looks for validation in the white woman or the Asian woman because he holds them. It's the same thing in reverse. It's the same thing in reverse. We can say the same thing about the black woman who chooses or praises the Brad, who praises the Brad and the Dylans and all of this. We can say the same thing, because same things apply. They just don't apply in the same way. They don't apply in the same way. A lot of black men feel that they should remain loyal in the wake of blatant disrespect, because after a while, you can kind of get the tone and get the overall consensus that black women do not respect black men. And there's reasons as to why, because black men have become effeminate. I agree. All by design. Black men have become docile. Black men are too emotional in a woman's eyes. But the thing about it, women misconstrue emotions versus perspective and dispositions. If a man states his disposition and his opinion or perspective towards something, that doesn't necessarily mean he's being emotional. That just mean he's being vocal and he has opinions the same way you do. But when we speak, this is you have to be keen as far as how women try to use that against you. They will try to use your opinions and your perspective and viewpoints as a way of emotional shaming you, meaning they'll try to make it seem as if you're just emotional because of your disappointments or failures with women, when in reality, the failure usually stems from the women, because they're the ones that lead the relationship. Relationships will have ups and downs in a lot of cases. They will, depending on where you are in the world, where you are in your finance. You're going to have certain situations, and that doesn't protect you. Getting money, getting a certain level of prestige, it does not protect you from having issues in relationships because you would have issues by yourself, would you not? You will have issues aloneness in this life. So do not think that you will not have issues with your lady. But women think that things are going to just be peaches and cream. Women stay loyal to the wrong men. It's the craziest phenomenon. This is why they have such disdain for their baby daddies and men of that nature. They give them their best, knowing that that man is not the best for them. Women are not the best choosers of men as far as romance. They think they are, but again, the very men that they love, you catch them 2 weeks later, they're going to tell you how much they hate them. Now, make that make sense. How can you love someone today and be out of love or whatever, or hate them tomorrow? How does that work? Because the love is only based upon certain conditions. I love you under these conditions. So as a man, you have to set the conditions and the terms in which this relationship will work and progress and where it will progress to. Too many times you go into a relationship with no plan, no standards, no code as far as this is what I want this relationship to do for me. What do you want out of this relationship? What do you want to work on? Women just think relationships are safe havens for their broken self-esteem. They want to go in relationships knowing it is going to be temporary, only to repair their egos, repair their self-esteem, save up money. Women are looking for help in a lot of these relationships. They're not looking to build or accomplish anything with you. They're looking to use you for your energy. They don't want to stick it out and go through the ups and downs. They want microwave reality and results. They want instant gratification. And as women get older, the patience will definitely be a lot shorter because their window is a lot shorter. This is why when you play as a woman in your 20s, early 20s, mid 20s, the world is their oyster. They're getting so much attention and so much preferential treatment because they're in their prime of beauty. They're the most beautiful they'll ever be between 19 and 27. And this is in my opinion. Some women peak a little later. You have some women, rare exception, that peak in their 30s. They peak in their 30s. So they get this time in which they're getting this attention and they feel that it's going to be like that forever. You've seen the women who were gorgeous in high school and college. You catch them 5, some even 2 years out of college, 4 years out of college, 2 years out of high school, and they have blown up like a blimp. They have lost all physical appeal because they peaked too early, and now they're getting the leftovers. But exploring other options, do not feel guilty if that is something you want to try out, because what works for you may not work for the next man. And you should not have to justify your choice in choosing outside of your own race. Again, whether you're black, white, other. If your race is, if you're not getting any type of results or the results that you want, you have to take a look as to why, do the work. And then if you see something outside of your own race, I would say go for it, because experience is the best teacher. What if it works? See, we have this what if it don't work mentality in business, and risk and shooting your shot for those who do the cold approach. I get it. Cold approach, again, I have my own opinion on that. But all of these things, we have a what if it doesn't work? What if she doesn't like me? What if it goes bad? We have a negative complex because our image has been shown as negative. The treatment of our image is shown as negative. So therefore, we have adopted a negative mindset to where anything that we try to get into, it is not going to work in our favor. You have to change that thought into what if it does work. But you guys let me know what you think about this video. You feel that you should be exploring other options if your race of women is not working for you, if you don't feel that you're compatible or your views and morals align, by all means, go ahead and, test the waters elsewhere. But it's the Date Master. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.